So what do you think? Do you think we should get going?
I think we should get going.
Yeah, we've got a lot to cover today.
Yeah. So we want to just tell you a little bit about us. So I'm Margie Schamuhn.
Yeah, and I'm Catherine Hind. And we met, so there we are. You can actually see us now. We met over 20 years ago in our own journey of personal growth, actually at a workshop, and that was 20 years ago. And much to our surprise, it led us to the exciting work that we're actually doing together today.
Mm-hmm. And this workshop had a huge impact in our lives. I think of how this awareness served us in our marriages as parents. We both had young kids at the time, and it gave us real valuable tools of how to be parents. And in our families, I think of the workshop as well that our families went through, and it created deeper relationships with our families and really impacted that. And in our friendship here, Catherine, you and I, even today, it's like 20 years later, we're on purpose doing life.
Exactly.
And, that workshop was really instrumental. It
totally was. It actually became the catalyst for both our careers as coaches. We had begun with facilitating and working in the personal growth area, and then moved into coaching as our professions, more facilitation, more leadership development, and more personal growth development, helping literally thousands of people along our careers over the 20 years. And so then we came together to leverage our years of experience and our own experience that we continue to journey along for our own benefit and personal growth, and along with our spouses, developed Life is Short Personal Development Company.
Mm-hmm. We will be talking a little bit more at the end of our call about our workshop and a little bit about what you do. And we do have a special offer for you at the end of the call, so we encourage you to stick with us.
Yeah,
a little bit about our philosophy, where we started, where we really built from, as you can remember, Catherine, is this: we believe that people are powerful beyond measure, and know that we need to engage in opportunities to become more conscious in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we understand that as human beings, we sometimes forget this. We find ourselves coasting through life, we lose our passion, or we just start accepting the status quo and the things the way that things are just going for us. And we really, really understand that and believe that limitations actually that show up for all of us are actually self-imposed, and that more often than not, we actually put those upon ourselves.
Right. And it is through our own self-awareness that we find ways to consciously free ourselves from these limitations. And this means taking charge of our lives.
Yeah. A fulfilled life is actively creating and living the life that you most want. Actually participating and being present to your life.
So I think the most beautiful thing is we know that we can make our lives happen. We get to create it. We get to live it the way that we want, and we have to take responsibility.
It really is about taking responsibility, and that's a lot to do with the philosophy that behind Life is Short. Compassionate responsibility.
Love that.
Yeah. So let's jump into the webinar.
So we want to just give you some guidelines about how the webinar is designed to work. And to get the most out of our webinar today, we are asking you to commit to being fully present and really be selfish about this time. This time is for you.
Exactly. And we welcome your questions and encourage you to jump in and get involved and interact with us. So again, on the left-hand side of the screen is the chat box. So, when we're asking or whenever you've got a question, like throw it in there. We'd love to hear what you're thinking and wanting to know more about.
Mm-hmm. The webinar is designed to be a journey of discovery, and we walk you through steps that we will take you through. And there's an experiential aspect to it. So we just encourage you to get involved and have a pen and paper ready, find a comfortable spot, and really jump in and take from what you can from this webinar today.
Exactly. So, overview of the webinar and what we're going to be looking at. How to get more of what you want. Overcome obstacles. So we're identifying obstacles. And really what we're going to be looking at today is limited beliefs. Create the life that you desire. So really being present, as we said, being intentional, and actually setting yourself up for success. Taking your life seriously is taking responsibility, as we said before, about making it happen. This is a lot of stuff, and we realize that. And we are going to be touching the surface of this in our 1-hour program today, but we are convinced that you can take away value from it.
Mm-hmm.
So as you think about what you want in your life, maybe it's something that you want to see in your business unfold, or maybe you want to build a stronger relationship, or you want to experience more spiritual or personal growth in your life, or maybe it's something you simply want to start doing or stop doing. Whatever it is for you, the question we're posing to you is, what do you want?
And what do you want is a courageous question. And often we don't even ask ourselves this. And giving ourselves the time to really process what that means for us is really important. So something that I want in my life is to make the things that I love more of a priority. So here on the slide, this is me. And one of the things that I love to do is hike. I love to be out in nature, and especially when I travel, I make hiking a priority because it aligns with my value of health. Getting outdoors, the adventure, the challenge, and the beauty all around me just revitalizes me. Yet when I get home, as good as an intention is to keep it up, sometimes there's things that get in the way. When life gets busy, this desire, that to get out there and schedule that hike, I put on a shelf and becomes less of a priority. And one of the things about those longings in your heart, even though you don't do them, it's kind of that yearning in your heart that's saying, hey, I want to do this, and things get in the way. So how to get more of what I want really is that awareness. It's understanding that busyness is a limitation in my life, and it stops me from doing what I love. And this is what we're going to be talking about today.
Yeah, exactly. So we want to invite you to think about something that you want, that you long for. Just like you heard the passion in Margie's voice, there's no doubt that this is something that she actually wants to see happen in her life. So really the inquiry is, what do you want? And we're going to help point you. Maybe you came to this call with a real sense of what you want, but we're asking you to take a look at the various aspects of your life, career maybe, family, friendships. Maybe it's your relationship with your partner. Maybe it's in the area of romance, fun and recreation. Maybe it's health, as Margie was talking about, and recreation, or finances, personal growth, physical environment. So we're just giving you a number of places for you to look at what you want to make happen, improve, or start.
And some examples might be, you might want to have a more intimate relationship with your spouse, or you want to experience more freedom in some aspect of your life, or have a more positive outlook on life, or to be open to new adventures in your life. What is it that you want? We're going to give you an opportunity to write your answers down and just give you a minute to do that. And then we are curious about your answers and invite you to share them with us in the chat box for the other participants to see. So we're going to give you a minute to do this.
Exactly.
Now that you've done this, the reality is, just like with me in the story that I shared, you may have a desire for something to happen in your life, yet you don't go after it. It's almost like that desire falls into a black hole and disappears. And the black hole, metaphorically, might speak of excuses, not making it a priority, or limitations. Why does this happen when that desire is so important? What is it that gets in your way?
Right. And I see we've got a few different responses that have come in through the chat box. And, you know, Melanie she's looking at how to keep that work life simple and balanced. And yes, that is a challenge for all of us to create that balance and to really get clear about what that balance actually looks like for each of us.
Right.
So when things do get in the way of what you want like that, you lose sight of what you want. And that's what I mean by, you know, sometimes we're not even clear what that can look like for us. So what is it that actually does get in your way? Some examples of things that often get in our way are not enough time, not enough money, not enough, you fill in the blank. There's often a lot around not having enough, just as Margie said, there isn't enough time, you know, there isn't enough hours in the day, etc. How frequent I know that I can find myself saying exactly the same thing. Uncertainty, doubt, fear, insecurity, excuses, busyness, someday island are all things that kind of show up when we look at some of the things that are in the way. Margie, do you want to say something about someday island?
Well, someday island really is that place of someday I'll get to this. Someday I'll do it. And so it's like kind of like procrastinating. And there's that longing in your heart to do it. And someday, maybe in tomorrow, maybe next year, or whatever. And it never happens. So really, when we go to Someday Island and we put it there, we become disappointed in ourselves. We're not really following through with our own commitments. And we're really not taking our lives seriously.
Yeah,
our desires seriously.
Exactly, and it becomes almost like an illusion, right? Because
absolutely.
always get to, and so it kind of makes us happy because we're going to do it one day, but there's a deeper level of disappointment because we don't actually get there. So what shows up for you? What shows up for you? We're going to give you a moment here to just really look at that. And again, we invite you to put any thoughts that you have in that area in the chat box. And as you look at the things that you've listed of what you want, imagine yourself taking steps forward in pursuit of having that. What is it that stops you? What is it that gets in your way? As you feel the resistance, maybe you've experienced it previously, maybe that resistance is familiar, what's there?
Some of the things that stop you might be things like fear of failure, self-doubt, negative thinking, insecurity, never having enough time, excuses, procrastinating, not making it a priority. What is it for you?
There are things that impact all of us. When we're in pursuit of what we actually want, there are 5 really significant things that as human beings we all share. Our beliefs, our attitudes, our thoughts, our feelings and emotions, and our choices and decisions.
A great example to illustrate this is, when you have that opportunity to apply for a promotion that you're really excited about. You kind of bored in with what you're doing, and you're so ready for change and want to move forward. There is a belief. This is a challenging position, and you question, am I good enough?
Yeah.
Then an attitude might show up. Don't feel confident, unsure of yourself, and life doesn't work out for me. I can't have this, may show up.
Yeah.
There are thoughts. Other people are more qualified than me, and you defer. I'm not good enough. Might be a message that might be playing. And then there are feelings that show up of fear, self-doubt, insecurity, or emotions of discouragement and anxiety. We make decisions out of those feelings, and we make choices, and you may make a choice not to apply, and it's just an unconscious choice to stay stuck. Or you may make a decision to stay comfortable and not apply for that position and not move forward and play it safe.
Yeah. Yeah, and as you know, some of the participants, have shared, there are very real things like financial pressures and overcommitting. And I love this, mental conditions impose limitations, and that is so true, because there are the realities of life. Yes, they're always going to be there, but there are these pieces that are self-imposed and within actually our control, like the areas that Margie's, and the example that Margie's just gone through. So as you look at this list, and what is it that you are aware of? What is it that actually shows up in these areas for you? Because beliefs, attitudes, thoughts, and feelings are powerful. And they actually impact our choices, whether we're conscious of it or unconscious of it.
Yeah, exactly.
In fact, so there's your question right there. What are you aware of? What shows up for you? We're digging deep this morning. So
and I guess I want to just say, Catherine, too, these questions, they are deep questions, and these are questions in our journey of our own personal growth that we can ask ourselves. It just opens up understanding and awareness, and this is so important.
Especially when we can bring compassion to our own process of understanding these things about ourselves.
Right. Isn't that key? Really, that self-compassion.
Because our mind creates limitations. Limiting beliefs, when they show up, they actually stop us. And as they do, our vision gets blurry. We become unclear. We actually feel stuck. and we fear making the wrong decision, or we feel, all we can see is that we're unsupported in our world. And man, that's a tough outlook to live day in and day out with.
Mm-hmm. So we want to be clear of what limiting beliefs are. And limiting beliefs, how we're holding it, is what we hold as true. This is the way it is often the way it might sound. It may also, a limiting belief is an absolute. It's kind of that black or white thinking, either this or that.
Mm-hmm.
Limiting beliefs are also fear, false evidence appearing real. And fear distorts our reality, how we lose perspective.
Exactly. And these limiting beliefs, as we said before, we're not always conscious of it.
Mm-hmm.
They restrict us, though, and they do actually start to shape our reality, and we see things through the lens of limitation in our lives.
So some examples.
Let's go first to the question around what are some of the limiting beliefs that show up for you?
Mm-hmm.
So begin to sort of try to become aware of where you see limiting beliefs operating in your own life.
And now I'll jump in. Some examples are, not good enough, not smart enough, not thin enough, I don't have enough, I'm not enough. Limiting beliefs, they really live in the realm of not enough.
Exactly.
And this is how they show up.
Exactly, and they have an energy to them, an energy that actually impacts us. And we begin to feel stuck. We feel unsafe, like a need to protect ourselves. We actually think negative thoughts. They create fear. They actually try to predict an outcome or a future.
Mm-hmm.
A quote that both Margie and I has really served us, I think, in the course of our lives is, what you fear, you actually create. It's like, almost like what you fear, you starts to show up in your life.
Isn't that true?
Exactly. And when we're in that fear, it takes us out of the present moment. And when we're out of the present moment, it takes us away from knowing we are at choice. We actually are at choice in our lives. And sometimes it's difficult to identify what your limited beliefs are. And when this happens, a great place to look is at our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So your emotions can be a doorway to discovering our beliefs. Think about where in your life you feel restricted. Where do you feel that internal resistance? Or maybe it's a lot of excuses that you can fill that you're aware of, that you start to build like armor as you think about moving forward in that direction you most want to go. What emotions are you aware of? And I'll throw some examples at you. They might be things like powerful emotions, like uncertainty, and as we said, fear, doubt, worry, or overwhelm, which, so many of us feel today in our busy lives.
Mm-hmm.
Confusion, stress, frustration, complacency, even distrust. Or, as some people have said here too, it's like others don't take me seriously,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm not making a big enough impact. They don't see that my work is valuable. So it's somehow I'm not enough underneath that.
Mm-hmm. So what emotions and feelings get in your way? We want you to take a moment and look at what feelings and emotions get in your way. We're just going to give you a minute. Connecting to your emotions can help reveal the limiting beliefs that are operating in your life.
When you're able to identify your limiting beliefs and see how they get in the way and are robbing you from having what you want, you can actually make a choice to change it.
Mm-hmm.
And that starts with acknowledging what the limiting beliefs actually are. Because, Margie, as we've always talked about, you cannot heal or change what you do not acknowledge. So compassionately acknowledging to yourself, the limiting beliefs that you're buying into is the first step.
Yeah. And that acknowledgement is that first step, isn't it, to healing in our lives?
Mm-hmm. And really, it's really about choosing to let go and release old beliefs that don't serve you.
Mm-hmm.
There is no magic way to release them, and yet there is magic when you decide to actually choose to let go and release your old beliefs.
Right. Because choice is the most powerful thing that we have going for us, isn't it?
So transformational change happens when you become intentional about really getting very clear about limiting beliefs, old beliefs that no longer actually work with you, and beginning to replace them with new beliefs that actually can.
Mm-hmm.
Changing the beliefs actually has the power to change your life.
That's a powerful thought.
I know. It is. And it's a work in progress. And as we said,
absolutely.
We're beginning to touch this here in our 1-hour program.
Mm-hmm.
It starts with being willing to let go of old beliefs and really choosing ones that empower you. And as we said, it is a work in progress, and it's choosing to stand in a mindful place so that you're able to move in the direction you most want to go, which is ultimately being conscious in your life and your ability to make choices to overcome obstacles, to really be present rather than just going with the status quo when you know it's
absolutely. Mm-hmm. So what happens when you choose new beliefs? As you let go of old beliefs, you nurture new beliefs. In choosing beliefs that you empower you, this actually creates new neural pathways in your brain. And studies show that this alters your neurochemistry. And it releases oxytocin, serotonin, dopamine, the feel-good hormones. And as they're released, you are motivated to make positive change in your life. You're able to create new realities in your life and see possibilities.
I love what you're saying because a few moments ago I referred to magic. And it is like magic, and it is bringing scientific evidence to support, what I'm calling magic, because it actually can begin to make a difference as it becomes a practice in your life.
Yeah. And, I love what neuroscience is really revealing because it makes you see how complex we are as human beings. And really, we talked about, greatness is in the soul of every human being. And there's greatness within us of we can actually create new realities. It is possible with, just those new neural pathways, new ways of thought that are absolutely transforming to our lives. So it is powerful what a new belief does. With this new belief, what possibilities do you see? It opens up the world of possibility. Take a moment to think about that. What possibilities do you see when you choose a new belief?
So as we said, change your belief, change your life. This is a powerful reality. Empowered beliefs positively impact your life. We're now going to give you an opportunity to explore this further with an exercise where you'll use your imagination to help you begin to create possibility. This process is called a visualization, and it's a way for you to imagine what's possible and envision outcomes that you want in your life. Some of you maybe have done visualizations before, perhaps others haven't. So we just really invite you to have the stick-to-itness and explore what's here for you. It's really actually kind of a fun thing to do. So we're going to move on and do a closed eyes visualization, and Margie's going to read it.
Yeah, so I want you just to put your pens and papers aside, get in a comfortable position, and just allow your eyes to close. And begin to take a long, slow, deep breath. Breathing in through your nose. And breathing out through your mouth. Breathing in. And breathing out. With each breath in, you are aware and present to this moment. With each breath out, you are letting go of any tensions or distractions that you might feel. Present in this moment, you are aware of your body and you feel relaxed and comfortable. Now I want you to imagine something you really want to have in your life. Something you want to start doing, creating, manifesting, or perhaps it is a new way of being and showing up in your life and your relationships. Feel what your heart desires and longs for, that you know you really want. Take a few moments and imagine that desire. Now you are ready to go on a journey to the place of your desires, hopes, and dreams. It is a place that your heart knows, where you experience a deep sense of fulfillment. Your inner knowing knows this is the right next step for you. Eagerly, you make your way knowing you have the resources and support available. Feel the passion and excitement fill your soul as you make your way knowing you have everything you need. Feel the anticipation. See yourself moving forward. You have made the choice to honor your heart's desire and decided to make it your reality. Feel this sense of empowerment. Notice the feelings that you feel. Maybe they're confidence, courage, and certainty. There are thoughts of gratitude that fill your heart. Notice the impact that this has. What are the beliefs that you are choosing? There is enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am enough. I can do this. These beliefs are actually true and expand your world. Remember your desires, hopes, and dreams. What does your heart know and long for you to choose? What is the belief that you will claim? Notice how this belief empowers you. Take in this experience. We are going to bring this visualization to a close. So begin to take a deep breath in and out. And when you are ready, open your eyes.
Great. So welcome back into the space of the webinar. Empowered beliefs actually open up possibilities. Empowered beliefs fuel our attitude, our thoughts, our feelings. Empowered beliefs actually inform our decisions and our choices. Examples of empowered beliefs are, I'm worthy. I can do it. I am good enough. I am enough. I have enough. So, the beliefs might sound, some of the beliefs that these are examples of empowered beliefs. You may come up with some beliefs that are unique to your own self. We've just given you a few here. And they might be similar to this, or they might even sound like, I don't have to be perfect. What an empowering belief that is. It doesn't have to be perfect, or I don't have to be perfect, because I've yet to have actually met a perfect human being. So these beliefs actually empower and motivate you to pursue what it is you want and to get intentional about making your desires, wants, hopes, and dreams your reality. And as you choose empowered beliefs, you actually will feel encouraged to take responsibility and create the life that you want.
So what is one belief that you are choosing? We are going to give you a moment to write your responses down. And when you are ready, type your answers in the chat box for us. What is one belief that you are choosing? Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Isn't it exciting to know that you get to make this happen? And it's nurture and grow this new belief. And what this means is, this means holding this belief as sacred and valuing it and treasuring it. When you empower your new belief, you create a new reality. If you change your belief, you powerfully change your life.
Exactly. And I love these ones that are coming in. I am divine. I am enough.
Wow.
My audio's gone. That's a problem, that one. But my gut is honest. This is great.
Wow.
I love what's showing up here.
Great work.
So creating the life that you love really does mean taking action. And as we said, we've begun to kind of look at this in our time here. And so taking action means, what steps will you take? What's next after this for you?
Mm-hmm.
How will you create accountability as you move on from here? And what structures will you create to support your new belief? So we have prepared some examples. You'll have many other things that you can imagine doing, I'm sure. But here's some examples that we wanted to share. So journaling, writing about your journey, about things that you want. What is important to you? What beliefs will support you along the way? So finding a way to engage in journaling is a way. Some people don't like to write, so maybe visual journaling. Maybe you put together pictures, like a picture journal. This is one idea of a step you might take. Practicing mindfulness, setting aside the time for self-reflection.
Mm-hmm. And Catherine, I remember when I did my leadership training, it was a ritual that I started to create of my morning coffee. Normally you can just rush through that in your day. And so I went outside and made myself sit for 5 minutes and just to really reflect on my day, what was ahead, and the things that I appreciated about life. That ritual grew into longer periods of time, and that ritual is still something that I do today that keeps me grounded and centered. So practicing mindfulness is really powerful.
Exactly, and one of my personal favorites, which you're pointing to there, is actually spending time in nature, and whether it's that for me is a big one to help me have more mindfulness in my life. It's just a brief amount of time even to do that and to move my body.
Well, didn't you just do that before our webinar this morning?
Exactly.
Right? You took that time for yourself, and it got you, in that place that you needed to be for the webinar.
Exactly. And the dog needed a walk too. So
that's
good. So pursue personal growth. Books. There are fabulous books out there. There are blogs that can inspire us. We actually have a blog that we send out on a weekly basis from Life is Short. Webinars just like this to attend, and workshops. There's all kinds of stuff out there that can help you to be inspired and expand your world and be in the question of, how do I become more conscious of my life? How do I become more conscious of the choices that I make, that they're moving in the direction I want? So accountability, as we mentioned, I mean, Margie and I, of course, are both coaches, so we really believe in the value of hiring a coach. And we also know that's not possible or a choice that everyone wants to make. So creating an accountability partner is a great idea. Maybe you have a friend or family member who actually wants to move forward as well in their life and is working on something. And maybe you set up a structure where you hold each other in such a way that you're supporting one another's best interest in terms of where you're going in your life.
Well, great example. Right? I just looked up on my desk here, and I have this little quote. It says, "Relationship before task." And it's there. It's just a structure for me, a little Post-it note that, you know what, relationship is more important sometimes than getting things done. And it's just a little note to self of, Margie, remember that.
Exactly, and I love that, Margie, because it is pointing to this point that I've been clicking on here. Structures, which is anything that serves you that way, and that's a great example. It might be just a visual picture that really reminds someone of what they want.
So, Catherine, I'm having a little delay in the slides here, so bear with us.
Okay, well, really the question I think that you're wanting to launch out there, and we both are, is, what actions will you take? We're actually going to give you a moment to write down what steps you will take. So come up with maybe there'll be one of these steps that are here, or something that you know is going to really support you.
Nothing happens in life without taking action, right?
Yeah, exactly. And again, we invite you to interact with us and share your ideas in the chat box, because you know what? They might just serve someone else on this call, that you have an idea of something that they haven't actually thought of. Connect with an accountability partner more often. So, my question would be, that's an excellent idea, and to get some clarity around how often is more often.
That's great, yeah.
Find the commitment in that.
Add
a dream
and
board.
who is that person?
Yeah, that's Melanie. And add to a dream board more often. That's a great one. I love that. It's something you continually build on, and beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so take charge of your life. You know, you only have one life to live, and live it without regret. This is definitely a process, and it starts with being more conscious, present, and aware of our lives, taking responsibility for creating what it is that we want, and to know that your life, of course, and we know this, but we can't be reminded often enough, is a journey, and to actually be compassionate with yourself.
Mm-hmm. So we just are coming to the close to the end of our webinar, and we want to just talk about some of the key takeaways today that we've done throughout the webinar here today. And identify, one of the key takeaways is identify where in your life you are not creating what you want.
Mm-hmm. That's really the first step. What is it you want to focus on?
Mm-hmm. The second one is become aware of the emotions and feelings that impact you, because they do.
Mm-hmm. Valuable information there.
Mm-hmm. And it's really holding those emotions as neutral. They're not good or bad. Emotions and feelings, they just are.
They
have information for us.
Yeah,
exactly. Next one is uncover the limiting beliefs that stop you. And you've done some of that work here today. Intentionally choose to let go of these beliefs, and knowing you're at choice to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Claim empowered beliefs that open up possibility, and practice actions that support your new beliefs. Begin to take these steps to creating the life that you want. I'm here, and many of you have to get off the call, so we really want to thank you for joining us today. And now that you know how to get more of what you want in your life, you get to go make it happen. So we encourage you just to take charge of your life, live the life that you want.